Hello, welcome to another episode of Clues, Cues and Reviews, and today we are reviewing the chapter 666, La Bleche, The Mark of the Beast, and The Return of a Beast, Bleach 666. Some interesting points, bit of speculation, but a grand return of a familiar face. Without further ado, let's get into this review. So, point number one. The title of this chapter is called Empty House of the Puppet Temple. That's just how it is on Manga Stream or Manga Reader. I don't know if that is like the exact title, but I'll have a read on Monday when the Viz Media version comes out. So, point number one is really the result of the stab to the chest. And basically, Askin's down but alive, and he's kind of surprised the fact that Grimjow is kind of up and kicking, I guess, because he wasn't expecting that. So what happens is Kisuke Urahara explains that it would be interesting to keep him alive, so he healed him on the way just to ensure, because effectively the hollow is like a poison to the Quincy. It'd be interesting seeing how that would play out should that factor become involved, which leads to a dialogue about always being prepared, and he always says something along the lines of never getting caught with his pants down or something like that, which is an interesting way to put it. But an interesting topic because it kind of explains Kisuke Urahara's mentality about not leaving any stone unturned, which leads on to point number two. Point number two. Grimjow's basically sick of Askin's voice, so he adds the finishing blow. And he goes, does this guy ever shut up? And he goes, look, I've met my contract, so they must have had some type of agreement about defeating an enemy. And that's basically Grimjow doing his part. But Grimjow's like a proper mercenary at the moment. But what happens is both Kisuke Urahara and Grimjow feel a difference in the pressure of the poison. And Askin, before he's dying, he's like, oh, I can't be us going into the spiel about poison, but because when I die, basically it becomes a lot more intense. So all his reactions are effectively going to be, or Reishi's going to basically amplify the poison. Now, what this effectively does, it kind of, all these little things that are around him kind of seals everything. It looks like one of those Hado moves, the sealing technique that had the one time Aizen did on Ichigo, but I digress. An interesting point to bear in mind, and that's a really good kind of way to kill off your enemy, take him down with you, so to speak. So an interesting technique indeed for Mr. Askin Naklava, Mr. Poison Dude. Now I mentioned returns. There was actually 3 returns. 2 grand, 1 really grand, and then it kind of trickles down. This one's in the one in between. We see the return of Halibel. I don't know if I pronounced the name correctly. But you know that cute little girl that was slobbering all over Ichigo when he went to Hukumendo? She's back in her Arrancar form. And she's like, oh, I wanted to meet Ichigo. There's 4 Ryatsu signals that are going down Chi. And she dives into Helm. So I'd imagine this is Askin, Yoruichi, Grimjow, and Urahara. Urahara's on his way out. It basically says, I leave the rest up to you, Kuchiki and Ichigo or Kurosaki. Now when he says Kuchiki, did he mean Byakuya, or did he mean Rukia? I'm assuming he means Byakuya because he's the stronger one of the two, but you never know. We're going to leave that open. Which sets up point number 4. Gerard Valkyrie fights in number 4. It goes to him. With Askin out of the way, he's the last elite left. We don't really include X-Axis no more because he's lost his Shrift and he's fighting against Kira, who's practically a Vizard right now, or kind of half hollow, half Shinigami with everything that's happened with him. But basically, Hitsugai is still fighting Gerard. He goes, oh, I need a plan B, and just as that happens, who steps up? A return of Kuchiki, Byakuya. Who's, look, I'll help you out. And there's a period of time with his jokes, but it's kind of a dead joke because Byakuya is like a tough crowd. If I was a comedian, I would not want him to be in my crowd because he would never laugh. And basically, it kind of just falls on deaf ears. And they're kind of talking about helping each other out. And then Gerard's like heard enough and he goes in. And a slash comes out of nowhere and takes off his arm, which sets up point number 5. Now, I can't help but smile. Point number 5, the grand return. One of my favourite characters, the whole show, the whole series as a whole. The Beast, the Kenpachi. Zaraki is back. I think this is really gonna be his fight for him to basically step up and say, yo, I'm the man, I'm the Kenpachi, here's my Bonkai. That's what I think is gonna happen. We didn't really see everything from him in that last fight. The last fight was weird. We were glad to see that he was putting that coffin type of thing to help him kind of recover. He's now come out to really do his thing. I'd imagine Mayuri will come out at some point. But being that he's the last elite, I can imagine this is a really good time for this to happen. Now, what made me think of when I saw Byakuya and I saw Kenpachi in the same place, Zaraki, it made me think of two things. It made me think of that fight with Gremmy when he turned into like. It was the Aranka and he lost the 1 and he became the 0 and he turned that big squid looking thing, and then the scene afterwards when they're getting scolded by Captain Yamamoto when they're talking about the jackets, and they go, oh, what do you think about these jackets? And one guy says, oh, it's fashionable, the other one says, oh, it's cheap, and Zaraki says, oh, it's annoying, and they get scolded by Yamamoto. It just reminded me of those two scenes. Quite interesting, but a brilliant ending to the chapter. 8 out of 10 for me. I'm always up for the Zaraki and Kenpachi hype. I want to see more of him. I just do not want to see the end of this without seeing his full potential, him go at it. He's known as one of the special kind of powers in the army, I guess. He's one of the 5. There's a reason for that. His destructive capability is, second to none practically. We'll have to see what he can do. That's all for me today, guys. If there's something you enjoyed, please give me a thumbs up and leave it in the comment section below. If you haven't done already, please subscribe. I will leave some annotations here across the bottom of this. It will be a link to subscribe. It will be a link to my Twitter for those who are on Twitter, and it will be linked to my secondary channel. So please check them out whenever you get a chance, and if you haven't already done so, subscribe. But for now, take it easy. See ya.